Joining me now is Mai Rundlof. She is a environmental scientist and ecologist at Lund University in Sweden. Thanks so much for joining us, Mai. We appreciate it. You know, it's almost sadly disturbing to see that report we just saw. Even though it's a celebration in technology, it actually shows that people are adapting to living without bees. Does that worry you, or do you celebrate these kinds of developments in technology, figuring out how to replace the pollination of bees and other insects?
I think it's actually a good way to be practical and solve the problems that we encounter. It isn't, though, a solution for the pollinators, the bees and the other pollinators. So it's only a solution for us when we replace their services.
Right, it is just a solution for us. So where does that leave the bees? I mean, are you seeing enough being done to try to preserve and encourage the growth of actual bee colonies?
I think there's great efforts globally, actually, to take action and preserve bees and other pollinators. But perhaps we're not doing the right things. And that's one thing. We need to figure out what the right thing is. And I also like to highlight that there are over 20,000 different species of bees, and the honeybees are just a handful of species.
Okay, so what is being done then? What are you excited about, and what's been working so far?
There are actions, natural actions to do pollinator plans, to put in place different solutions to recreate habitat, to reduce pesticide exposure, and to find solutions for all the different pollinator species that we depend on for food production.
Okay, though, if their numbers do continue to decline and increasingly we just become reliable on the technologies, for example, that we just featured there, what happens to a world without bees, without pollinators? What do we lose?
We would lose a lot of tasty food. So about 3/4 of all the crop plants are to some extent dependent on insect pollination, and about 1/3 of the crop production. And it's mostly the very nutritious and tasty fruits and berries and coffee, things that we don't want to be without. So without a solution to protect and support pollinators, we do have to find other ways. There's also crop breeding, where you can find varieties that doesn't depend on insect pollination. But still, that doesn't help the bees, and they have a value of their own. They're not only there to do services for humans.
Okay. Mai, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us from Lund University. We appreciate it.